I'm Patrice Parks.
And I'm Kevin Stanfield, and right off the top of the show, we've got to check in with our chief meteorologist, Mike Hurd, because some of you in the Manhattan area may have felt a little rumbling going on today.
Yeah, you may have felt it in Bozeman too, but we didn't get a lot of reports of that. But a pair of earthquakes to note. First one was around 6:49 a.m. this morning, 2.5, not a big deal, but it was quickly followed up a couple hours later by a more powerful earthquake of 3.3 magnitude around 10:46 a.m. This morning. And as you look at this map, this shows you that there's been a clustering of weaker earthquakes in the Manhattan area over the last 10 days, with again two slightly stronger shakes in the last 24 hours. But there are a lot of fault lines in and around southwest Montana and in and around Bozeman. There's at least 4. So we do live in a seismic active area here in southwest Montana. And historically, there's been a very powerful earthquake just north of Manhattan up in the Clarkson Valley back in 1925, with a 6.6 magnitude earthquake caused considerable damage back in June 27th, 1925. So check out our website. You can get links to the USGS safety tips and get you prepared possibly for a strong earthquake that could happen in southwest Montana. But as you look at the forecast, looks pretty calm and quiet. There's the good news. And hour by hour, as you can see after sunset, we cool pretty quickly down into the 30s and eventually possibly even into the 20s. In my full forecast, I got some 60-degree days to look forward to as we get closer towards the weekend. Full details in a few minutes.
Great, thank you so much.
The State Department of Public Health and Human Services has confirmed this is the state's first influenza-related death of the 2018-2019 flu season involving a child. And that is your Montana Minute.
And speaking of flu season, let's send it back over to Mike Hurd, who has an update.
Yeah, unfortunately, one tragic story, but as you look at the flu index, it's still considered just sporadic flu cases across the state of Montana. A little worse in Idaho, Oregon, and into Utah, but a cold wave could, well, help the flu take a little stronger foothold across these areas highlighted in blue. We'll take a look at that next, but first, take a look at today's almanac.
With the diploma. Back over to Mike Hurd now for another check on your weather.
Well, now that hunting season is over, ice fishing season is just beginning, but you want to test the thickness of the ice this time of the year before venturing out. 2 inches or less, stay off. You need at least a good 4 inches to walk out onto any frozen lake, and you need a lot more thickness to get any type of motorized vehicle out into the lake areas. We'll take a look at an icy forecast for Bozeman at southwest Montana coming up next.
All right, let's send it back over to Mike Hurd now for another check on your weather.
Well, enjoy the mild weather while it's here for a day or two, but there are some big changes on the way by the end of the weekend, early next week. Colder and snowier is expected, so if you have to work or play outdoors, you want to be on the watch out for some hypothermia warning signs like confusion, shivering, difficulty speaking, sleepiness, and stiff muscles. When will this cold air arrive and how bad will it be? I'll let you know coming up after the break.
All right, back over to Mike Hurd one more time for a check on your weather.
Very cold this morning across southwestern Montana. As you can see, Patty Watson took a picture of her thermometer. That's about 22 below zero in the West Yellowstone area, but officially the airport came in at 26 degrees below zero this morning, closer to 10 below in Butte, and we barely stayed above zero here in Bozeman and Belgrade. Will it be this cold again tonight? More than likely. We'll have those forecast lows next.
Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with meteorologist Mike Hurd.
Well, big storm impacts coming over the next 24 to 36 hours. Let's start with the projected snowfall totals. This model usually comes in a little bit lower than all the other models, but I think it's a bit of a mid-range and more realistic. So I think we could see around 3 to 6 inches of snow for Butte and Bozeman. West Yellowstone around 4 to 5. Dillon likely to see less than 1 inch. Now, I'll show you some National Weather Service estimates, and their numbers are a little bit on the higher side. But regardless if it comes in low or comes in high, we all will be picking up snow and wind and difficult wintry travel. So where's the storm at right now? It's moving up and over the top of a ridge, hitting the west coast of British Columbia into the Pacific Northwest, and then it's going to be rounding the corner, diving down into western and southwestern Montana after midnight into early tomorrow morning. So there are numerous highlights out, winter storm warnings for severe winter weather from Missoula to Spokane, including I-90. There could be a foot of snow over Lookout Pass. Winter storm warnings are up from Great Falls down towards White Sulphur Springs to Bozeman to Big Sky down towards West Yellowstone in the backcountry of the Kbzk Beartooth Wilderness areas. National Weather Service estimates there could be around 4 to 9 inches of snow for most valleys, not all, but mountains and passes could pick up a foot of snow, and there could be winds gusting over 30 to 40 miles per hour, and that could really increase avalanche danger there in the backcountry around parts of southwest Montana. But everyone else is under a winter weather advisory, and that includes a large part of I-90 and I-15. So the rest of southwest Montana, lesser snow impacts, but still snow is expected along with some gusty winds, and difficult wintry travel will be setting up tonight and into tomorrow. Wind is expected to increase from Livingston to Big Timber, which is atypical ahead of a storm, but if it coincides with some falling snow, that could be a big visibility issue. So starting around 11 o'clock tonight, maybe a little after midnight, but definitely by the early morning hours, here it comes plowing through southwest Montana. Lesser impacts from Dillon to Whitehall back towards Three Forks, but watch now as this whole thing begins to dive and dig deeper into southwest Montana late morning, early afternoon, and then by about sunset, it begins to dive out of the area altogether, and then clearing skies will pave the way for some colder lows first thing Thursday morning. So big impacts on your Wednesday morning, your Wednesday evening, and Thursday morning commutes. Now, as you look at the regional estimated snowfall totals, again, higher elevations picking up heavier amounts of snow, and back out towards Anaconda, you could pick up 6 inches. I think 6 to 8 is a little on the high side, but Dillon, lesser impacts for you and southward towards Lima. So as you look outside right now, we're holding at 25 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. I don't think the temperatures are going to fall too quickly here tonight because of the storm and increasing snow here into the overnight. Same for Butte, sitting at 26 degrees and somewhat cloudy. Teens, 20s, and 30s around the state of Montana at this hour. But as you look at the forecast for tonight, snow's increasing after midnight. I got teens and 20s in there for lows. Snow is likely by tomorrow morning. Add another 2 to 5 inches on top of that throughout the day tomorrow. But the winds picking up with a cold front, 10 to 20, gusting to 30, could bring some blowing snow issues. As you move southward, single digits teens and windier 20s here in the overnight, but snow likely to build after midnight, and that continues through a better part of tomorrow. Gusty winds could cause some blowing and drifting and low visibility. Not the best travel weather for tomorrow. But as you look at the extended forecast, a weaker disturbance will try and set up on Friday, and then Sunday, a warm core storm with a little rain or snow is possible, and a little colder for the first half of next week. For Butte, a good chance for snow tomorrow, a few flurries Friday, a chance for rain or snow on Sunday, and then colder but drier Monday, Tuesday. And down in Dillon, a chance for snow. It's a lower probability, an inch or less is most likely, but nearby mountain passes, Big Hole Pass down towards Monida, snow and wind will bring some very difficult travel that way. Lesser impacts though as you move into Thursday and Friday, but West Yellowstone, solid chance for moderate to heavy snow for your Wednesday. You'll pick up more accumulations Friday and again on Sunday of next week. Not the best travel weather. If you don't have to travel tomorrow, I don't recommend it.
All right, thanks, Mike. Brooke Leonard is in.
Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with meteorologist Mike Hurd.
Keeping a close eye on Arctic air, and it continues to funnel its way from central Canada down through the Great Lakes region over the next day or two, by and large leaving Montana alone. In fact, I expect to see a slight warm up over the next day or two as we could see temperatures surge into the 30s and 40s. However, Saturday, here comes an Arctic boundary diving southward, and it's expected to press right down into Montana. So we're going to start to see some much colder air, and it could linger through a better part of next week across many areas of Montana. These could be some of the coldest temperatures we've seen so far this winter season. And if it coincides, and that's a big if, there is some Pacific storm energy trying to move in Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That could be an overrunning pattern. If it all comes together, it's really early to get specific on the data because the models are going to be changing slightly, I think, over the next couple of days. But the potential is there for some heavy snow around West Yellowstone, moderate snow for Bozeman, lesser impacts for Butte, but snow will be widespread across the entire Treasure State as we look into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. So we're watching these upstream storms. There are several of them, but right now that's several days away. So our current weather pattern is being influenced by this ridge pattern. It is trying to draw up a little bit of milder air over the next couple of days while that cold Arctic air continues to surge to the east of Montana. But this will change once that ridge pattern breaks down and a trough digs in here. That's going to allow for some Arctic air to move back in. So we did pick up a little bit of cloud cover and a few isolated snow showers that are drifting in the eastern half of Montana. So the weather pattern in general for the next 24, 48, 72 hours is storm free. What's interesting as we look at late Saturday and into Sunday, we got this Arctic front diving in from the north and this Pacific storm trying to move in from the south and west. And if it collides with good timing, again, there's great potential for some moderate to heavy snow Sunday into Monday and quite the sharp drop on temperatures with possible below zero wind chill value. We're sitting at 27 right now in Bozeman and Belgrade. We did see a low this morning, slightly below zero. Butte right now coming in as we look at the standoff out there towards the Civic Center. 24 degrees under partly cloudy skies. 25 was your max and 6 below was your min. So right now we're in the teens, 20s and 30s locally here in southwest Montana. Chinook winds down the east slope of the Rockies keeping their temperatures in the 30s, but that Arctic air just clipping the extreme northeastern corner of Montana. So the breakdown for tonight is partly cloudy to cloudy, not as cold. Hopefully most of us, not all of us, will stay above zero, and that's a slight warm up, but a slight one. 30s, 40s, that sounds a little bit better for this time of the year. In and out cloud cover should be a milder late afternoon. As you move southward, our overnight lows here could be around zero, maybe slightly below for West Yellowstone. I got teens for the rest of you, and tomorrow warming up in the 20s, 30s, and some windier 40s are possible out there. In and out cloud cover. So as you look at the extended outlook, calm and quiet for several days, but start planning now for a change in the weather pattern this weekend. And you can see snow is likely Sunday and into Monday and trending much colder for highs and for lows next week. Wind chills will likely be below zero. Butte, your extended outlook is also mild for several days, but increasing snow is likely Sunday, Monday with quite a bit colder highs and lows coming up into the first half of next week. Dillon, you could see some measurable snowfall Sunday into Monday, and again trending colder next week. But you have a warming trend coming up for the next couple of days in West Yellowstone. There could be some big dumps of snow in there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. But for the short term, dry, and then expecting increasing snow by the weekend.
All right, thanks, Mike. Brooke Leonard.
Take a look at the 10-day forecast. The next 2 days look great, but after that, the 10-day forecast for the first 2 weeks of February looks a little cold, and there's a high probability of widespread snow Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Accumulations likely, and bitterly cold wind chills will be setting up early next week. Same for Butte, low 40s for a day or two, and then a big change coming starting Sunday.
All right, thank you, Mike. And tonight at 10 o'clock, we have an exclusive interview. Our John Amy sat down with the hostage from last night's police standoff, so tune in for that at 10 o'clock tonight.
All right, MTN News at 9 coming up on the CW at 9 o'clock, like I said, and we will be right back here, like Caitlin said, at 10.